On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel is changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
I am about to speak to Colin Egglesfield. The name is great. It's almost as pretty as he is. He is a male model, a very high-class type male model. So tell me, when did you have the realization that you were good and looking enough to be a model?
Oh man, Cindy. It's kind of a weird thing to talk about. I was always dorky and nerdy growing up. I was super skinny. I had braces and headgear. So I tried to hide for a better part of my adolescence. And then I guess once puberty hit and my voice started to change a little bit, I decided I wanted to hit the weights to be able to play football in high school. And so that was the motivation for me to start getting into the weight room. Unfortunately, my voice really didn't change until I was about 26, but somewhere in between adolescence and 26 years old, I started to just, the muscles started coming out a little bit, and I grew probably 6 inches in about a year. And that's when it was probably around, senior year of high school, freshman year of college, that the girls started paying a little more attention to me. But still, having been awkward growing up, I didn't really necessarily know how to be most confident talking to people. So I just kind of did my thing until finally my senior year of college, I heard on the radio about this model talent search thing. And people had told me, I should be a model, but I didn't know what that meant or how that would work out. And so at the University of Iowa, I was just coming home from my waitering job one night, and I heard, come to the Davenport Holiday Inn for this model search, and I went to it, and these two ladies said, yeah, come to our model convention in Chicago, and I got hooked up with an agent. So, I mean, it just kind of all happened pretty quickly, and then soon thereafter, Calvin Klein saw my pictures and then had me do the Calvin Klein underwear box for like 8 years. And then I was doing Versace campaigns, and I did the Armani campaign, did Armani's fashion show in Milan, Italy, and Gianni Versace's fashion shows, and all these different designers, and it just kind of took off from there.
Okay, were you a good-looking baby, an infant? Were you good-looking?
No, my mom said I looked like a monkey. If you look at some of my baby pictures, my face looked like I sucked out a lemon. It looked like I always had this sour face. So I wouldn't say that.
Okay. I have interviewed male models before. Did you keep any outfit?
Well, Calvin Klein gave me bucket loads of underwear. But, this was, quite a bit ago, maybe 20 years ago. And I think if I still had underwear from 20 years ago, I think that would be pretty disgusting. So I don't have any clothes from back when I was, modeling. I guess nowadays when I do red carpets for movie premieres, because now that I'm an actor, I go to quite a bit of movie premieres and interviews. I sometimes get designers to send me clothes that I get to wear for them.
Well, unfortunately, I am not about to see you in your underwear. This is a big shame. It's radio, and I'm doing the best I can. So all I can say, Did you ever ruin? I have interviewed a couple of male models before. They have told me some stories that I'm going to ask you about. Did you ever ruin an outfit? Did your pants ever rip? Did anything ever happen?
Well, funny you should say that, Cindy, because I was doing the Cynthia Rowley fashion show in New York City, and it was a big deal. It was at Grand Central Station Terminal, and we heard there was a bunch of celebrities in the crowd, and I had these super tight leather pants that they fit me with. And, most models are tall and skinny. I'm on the shorter side. I'm like 5'11". Most male models are like 6'2". And so I played football, so my thighs were a little bit thicker. And I would say maybe some of the other male models. So when they put these leather pants on me, I was like, I could barely move in these things. And the runway had like 3 steps leading up to it. And so they put you in line, and then, you can hear the music, and you can barely hear anything just because the music is so loud. You can hear the crowd. And it was my turn. I walk up to I could see the 3 steps, and then the producer said, "Okay, Colin, your turn." And I go and I run up to the steps, and I leap up the 3 steps, and then I felt something pop. And I'm out there now in front of everyone, and the lights are shining on me, and the music is playing, and you got to just go. And so I see the end of the runway, and I start walking, and then I felt like there was some major air conditioning going on in my crotch area, and I sort of look down, and I see that I'd blown out the crotch and halfway down my left leg, but I just kept going, because what are you going to do, stop and run off? So I just kept going, and I get to the end of the runway, and I'm trying to look cool and do my fashion poses, my blue steel Zoolander looks, and I look down, and right in front of me is Kirsten Davis from Sex and the City. And she looks at me, she looks down at my pants, she looks back up, and she had this big smile on her face. And I smiled back at her, and I turned around, and she got a nice rear view shot of, I don't know what she saw, to be honest with you. I mean, I was wearing my Calvin Klein underwear, so she probably saw that. But that was probably one of the more embarrassing moments in my modeling career.
Okay, so what do you do when age approaches and you get older and you're not modeling any part of you anymore? What then? What do you do?
Well, I'm acting now, so acting is great because you can pretty much do that at any age, and you still have to take care of yourself and you hit the gym, and I try to eat healthy because when you got a camera on you, you want to make sure that you're not grossing people out, I guess. And so,
what are you in? What are you in as an actor?
No, Cindy, come on. I started out on All My Children. I played Erica Kane's transplanted stolen fetus son for 3 years. Then I did Rizzoli and Isles for 6 years. I did a movie with Kate Hudson called Something Borrowed, where I played her fiance. I did a TV series with Jennifer Love Hewitt. I've done quite a bit.
It's not like I don't know, but there are people listening who might not know. So that's why I'm asking you. What would keep you from your job? Peanut butter sandwiches? What is it that you have to watch to stay with your proper figure?
Good question. I have a sweet tooth, so I do like occasionally, donuts and chocolate chip cookies and cheeseburgers, but I just do it in moderation. I think in America, the portion sizes that they serve in restaurants is absurd. The portion sizes that they serve is essentially could feed 3 people. And I think it's conditioned us to believe that we need to eat everything on our plate. And, I remember going to my grandmother's house, or just even growing up, and it was always like, well, you got to finish everything on your plate. And it's like, well, what if I'm full? And so I think we've got to be careful about what we communicate to our kids, because we all know when we're hungry and when we're not. And I think if you force people to finish everything on your plate when they don't feel like finishing everything on your plate, you're teaching people maybe some habits that are not necessarily healthy as we get older. And you got to look at just what's in the food. Food I look at as fuel. I don't look at it as, sometimes I look at it as a guilty pleasure, but there's so much sugar in the American diet that really, that's truly the thing that's caused so much of diabetes and so much of the unhealthy diseases that a lot of people experience. I have a degree in biology from the University of Iowa. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. So I've done a lot of research on diet and health and wellness.
So what are you going to
Because for
tell
me,
me?
it's a
You eat
personal
celery,
thing.
only celery for dinner? What do you eat?
No, I try to keep it to mostly protein. So chicken, beef, pork, fish, and then I'll eat some, try to keep it as minimally processed as possible. So like potatoes, mashed potatoes, green beans. I'll eat nuts, and I eat dark chocolate. But I don't eat like a Snickers bar, or I don't eat cereal. If you look at a box of cereal and all the chemicals in it, if you just look at a package of something, if it's got more than like 5 ingredients, I try to stay away from it. That's really, I try to just eat minimally processed foods, but don't get me wrong. If you go to my cupboard, you'll see Oreo cookies. I just don't eat like 20 of them in a day. I might have like 1 or 2.
Okay. I have a friend, John Katsimatidis, who owns this station. Every birthday, he sends me Oreo cookies. What can I tell you? If he's listening, I love them. If he's not listening, I throw them out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing I want to ask you. I did a story a long time ago, and I'm just remembering one little shred from it. It was a male model, and he told me that they are treated like, this is what he said, second-rate scum by the female models who look down on them. That's what he said, and I remembered that. Is that so or not so?
I wouldn't say scum. I would say more like props in the photo shoot of what they're doing. Like I worked with Naomi Campbell, supermodel. We did a Versace shoot, and I got paid like $600 for the day, which it's a decent amount of money for a day of just getting your picture taken. But I think Naomi Campbell made like $25,000 for that day, and it was all about her. I mean, women. It's all the economics of it all. I mean, there's more women that buy more clothes, so of course the focus is going to be on women. And then on the flip side, you see it with sports where men have bigger salaries than women in sports generally, because there's more of an audience for men's sports than there are for female sports. So when it comes to the photo shoots, primarily a lot of the photo shoots had women as the primary focus, because most women are the ones that are the consumer buying the products, and they want to appeal to the women. But I wouldn't say scum, but I would say definitely
Second rate.
Commercial. Yeah, I did a commercial with Gisele Bundchen for Victoria's Secret, and it was directed by Michael Bay, who's done like the Transformer movies, and we were up in the Hollywood Hills, and I mean, I could have been basically a fly on the wall, because I walked in and everyone's like, "Who are you? Are you the camera guy?" I'm like, "No, I'm the male model." Like, oh, okay, go over there, and there's some water and some nuts over there if you want it. And then Giselle walks in, and it was like the Pope pretty much walked in the house. I mean, everyone jumped up, and they were bowing and kissing the ring, and then it's just one of those things where you kind of like, okay, I see where all the attention is gone.
Okay. Did you ever, other than the fact that your pants opened up, pardon the expression, did you ever screw up anything?
Do you know who Karl Lagerfeld is?
Yeah, well, of course I do.
Okay. So, big designer, photographer. I was in Paris one time, and he wanted to see me. He'd seen me on the cover of L'Homme Vogue and some of my campaigns. And so my agent said Karl Lagerfeld wanted me to come to his chateau, or his big, compound in Paris, to do a photo shoot. And so I go over there. I've got my backpack on, and I'm like probably 25 years old, 26 years old. Because you're in Paris, you're running around all day, so you've got like different, change of clothes and maybe tennis shoes, and then you got to change into dress shoes or whatever. So I had my bag with me, and I go into the house. He was super kind and really nice, and he started showing me around this beautiful, like multi-million-dollar mansion home that he lives in. And I walk into the living room where he had like his TV and his stereo equipment. This is back in the day when CDs were really popular. And I don't remember, Cindy, if you've ever had like that tower of CDs. So you had like basically a storage tower for CDs. And he had a few of them next to his stereo system. And he said, all right, Colin, now that the tour's over, let's go over into this room where I want to start doing the pictures. And I turn, and my backpack hit his tower of CDs, and like 3 of these towers came crashing down in the middle of his living room. And his servants come running in, and he looks at me, and I thought I was going to get thrown out of the place. But they were super kind and super nice, and wasn't the most graceful entryway or the graceful introduction to one of the biggest fashion designers in the world. But he was gracious about it, and I didn't get thrown out, and we got some really good pictures out of it. But my face was probably beet red after having that experience in front of someone like that.
Okay, what is an easy thing for those of us who are non-models to do to become better looking? Moisturize, facelift, what? How do we protect our faces?
I would say use a good SPF, drink lots of water, but I think most of the beauty is internal. I think we've placed so much emphasis on how we look and seeking validation from other people about whether we, fit the criteria for what we think is beautiful. But beauty can only get you so far. And I think what is really attractive is how someone shows kindness. And I know this may sound like cliche and like Colin, whatever, of course we're attracted to who we're attracted to, but it goes deeper than just outward superficial appearances. You can tell when someone's radiating from the inside out. And if you look at a lot of actors you wouldn't necessarily say that they're the most beautiful people in the world.
I don't care about radiating from the inside. What do you do on the outside to look good? Forget about the inside. I don't care about your inside.
Yeah.
What do you do to make your face stay looking good?
Yeah, I would say get some sun every day. Get, make like 10, 15 minutes of sun. Get a nice old tan. Use some good SPF, though. And drink plenty of water and eat healthy. And get to the gym. You got to move. You got to get the blood flowing. And I just see so many people who move slow. And you can tell that they're not active. And I would say just get active, get in the gym, and make sure you have plenty of sex. That can help keep you young too.
Plenty of sex. I like that part. Okay, what about the difference in today's clothes before I throw you the hell off? What about the difference in today's clothes?
Today's clothes, it's interesting because things obviously go in trends. Today, we're seeing a lot of big boxy stuff, which I'm not really a big fan of. I think back in the 90s, it was all about big boxy suits, and I'm seeing that come back because for a while it was like super skinny and the skinny jeans. But I think who does it best is Armani. Always seems to have the most classic type of look. And as a white guy, if I tried to look too fashiony, I end up looking like I'm trying too hard. So I try to keep it simple. But what I love about fashion is that there's certain ways that you can incorporate little things to express yourself in your own unique way. And I think life is all about self-expression and showing the artistry of who you are, not just because there's a label. Like I see people running around with like labels on their sweatshirts and things. I find it more interesting when people go to like put together stuff from like a thrift store and they are creative in what they put together. So that's my style.
Okay, never mind all that. Tell me, Colin, what have you had with any celebrity? Have any been haughty because they are actors more than you before you started, and they look down on a male model? I've seen that. I've heard it. I've reported it. You obviously didn't experience that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's definitely hoity-toity people that I've met in the industry who, you can tell that they're just used to type of treatment, but I wouldn't say I was outright shunned or treated in a way that I would say necessarily was like horrible. And if I did, I think I'd be an idiot if I shared it publicly, because it probably wouldn't work again. So maybe when we finish the interview here, Cindy, I might share a couple of things with you. But for the most part, I would say people are pretty decent.
I got it.
I've heard stories, but
okay. I have been speaking with Colin Egglesfield, who has the nicest voice and the best name I have ever seen or heard or known. And I thank you very much. And before I throw you the hell off, is there anything that you're going to be on that we should watch at the moment? Magazine or TV or anything?
I've got 3 movies that are in post-production right now. One of them is called Mick Skylark, Mini Golf Prodigy. Another one is called Indecent Attraction or Unlawful Attraction. It's going to be on Lifetime. And then I've got a horror film where I play a professor and my students start getting murdered. And that one's called 213 Bones. And I may or may not be the killer, Cindy. So you got to watch it to find out.
Okay, I have spoken to a possible killer, and I have enjoyed it very much. And Colin, I hope when we're off the air, you'll tell me some dirty stories. I loved having you. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night, and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day, and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.